Hey guys, today we are doing a sneak preview into the 2026 fantasy football draft. We're just going to take a look at the first couple of rounds. We're going to talk about any guys that you need to be looking into in the offseason here. So let's do it, guys. Let's go. All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Frankie, today, welcome in, my friends. It is the last episode of the season for us.
Whoa.
It's hard to believe we did 40 videos this year just in the season.
No big deal.
Man.
No big deal.
Yeah. Feels good, though, man. But wrapping it up strong. We wanted today, guys, we just want to give you, let's take a little peek. It's the week before the Super Bowl.
Right.
Everybody's gearing up and excited. We're going to take a little bit of a peek into next year's fantasy draft. We're going to look at the first 3 rounds, and we're just going to see what the early projections are in these rounds here. Talk about some guys that maybe we're surprised to see there, some guys that we think maybe will drop. Maybe they have offensive coordinator, coaching changes, quarterback changes. There's going to be a lot of that too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take just a peek at some of these guys. Now, keep in mind, not include rookies.
Right.
We'll be doing our rookie review as our first episode coming into 2026. And then we're also going to look at new faces, new places, the free agents.
That's right.
So it doesn't take this into consideration. If some of these guys are going to be free agents next year, we'll talk about that and maybe speculate on where they might go too. All right, Frank, you ready, baby?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's take a look at our first round right now. Got up a beautiful graphic here created by the Frankly Fantasy Football graphic design team. Yes, that is the guys you're looking at right here on this screen. All right, let's take a look at the first round. This is from Rotoballer Rankings. We went through and looked at a bunch of different rankings. These ones seem a little more aligned with what Frank and I are kind of thinking. You know, we might put out our own rankings next year as well, so keep an eye out for that. But looking at this early first round, I'll just run down real quick. And then, Frank, give me some ideas on these first couple of guys and what you're thinking. Do they belong there? What's happening? Number 1 overall right now, Bijan Robinson. Number 2, Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 3, Puka and Chase. We got a receiver right there. Number 4, Christian McCaffrey. And number 5, Amon-Ra Chase. Now, I want to point this out, and I'm going to say from my own personal advice here or personal thoughts, these 5 guys really, to me, Frank, can be interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take any of these guys as the 101 or anywhere in the top 5,
have that.
I see absolutely zero issue with that. Some people like to go receiver first and receiver heavy. Puka, Jamar, go at it. You know, I do think, though, to me, Frank, and maybe your opinion's a little different, the big 3 running backs, we talked about this in our fantasy finishes for running back. These guys are just so valuable, man. Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey. The reason I'm saying that is because you're getting a top 5 running back, almost certainly, if these guys are healthy. And you're also getting a top 10 receiver with these guys, with their receiving. So talk about that a little bit. How you feel just these first 5 guys. Break it down to what some of your thoughts are.
Well, I think it's interesting, John, because, guys, when we're looking at this, first off, I completely agree with you. Any one of these could be 101, 102, 103, 104, 105 in any way. So if you're, to your point, if you're like, no, I'm a believer in Puka, we just found out Matt Stafford's coming back full time, then take him 101. Right. Nobody's going to have a problem with it. But here's what's fascinating within these top 5. First and foremost, there's been a lot of shakeup. So we know immediately with the Falcons, right, that they brought on Stefanski. Now they have Tommy Reese. So that offense dynamic is going to change. And here's what's really cool. I actually agree with Bijan being number 1. The reason is because knowing we're Browns fans, knowing the hell we went through, but we've seen Stefanski's schemes. Guys, he is run first, play action all day, every day. And so with that, opens up a ton for Bijan Robinson. In addition, guys, you got to remember Tyler Algier is also a free agent this year. Now, he could certainly be re-signed back, but the reality is there may be a team that wants to pluck him and actually put him as their starter. So all of that bodes very well for Bijan. And then you also look at Jahmyr. What's interesting about Jahmyr, man, again, he could certainly also be the 101. But for me, it's looking at his new OC. So the guy coming over, Peter from that of Arizona, the previous OC over there, is now coming to the Lions as of just a few weeks ago, guys. So it's a really run-heavy style of offense. So this bodes well to Jahmyr, also bodes well to Montgomery. So it's going to be interesting to see how this new OC really leverages Jahmyr Gibbs' skill set, not just from a rush perspective, but certainly from what you were even acknowledging from the receiving aspect. And that's a lot of times where these backs are going to make their payday for you, meaning those target share. I mean, we looked at CMC, man, for example. I mean, he was number one running back in a lot of cases, maybe number two behind Jonathan Taylor in some aspects. But when you look at his receiving output, it was nasty. It was absolutely incredible. And there's no reason to believe that that's going to actually slow down. If anything, based on the construction, based on what's going on from San Francisco's perspective, they're more than likely going to need another style of season like that from CMC. And I know he's getting up there in age. He's getting closer to 30, right? But again, I see another 1 or 2 seasons of absolute awesome output from him. So for me, man, there are some coaching things kind of happening. But again, level setting all expectation, a lot of these coaching changes will actually help some of these top tier backs or receivers as well.
Agreed, man. All right, now let's look. We get down here. This is where you're going to get some controversy.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a lot of different opinions of where these guys belong. Middle first round and on the turn in the back of the first round here. Let's just go right through it. Number 6, Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN. Controversial, I know. Number 7, Jonathan Taylor. Number 8, Devon Achane. Number 9, James Cook. 10, Amon-Ra, the Sun God. 11, CeeDee Lamb. And rounding out first round right now is looking like Rashee Rice. All right, I know there's a couple of guys in here you want to talk about, man. Let's just start with JSN. He's the next guy on there. Preface this with you and I were not believers in JSN.
Right.
We did not draft. He was off of our boards.
Yep.
Obviously, that was a huge mistake, but there were reasons for that. And it was Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Was Sam Darnold going to be that guy, or was he a product of Kevin O'Connell's offense in Minnesota? Apparently, he is that guy.
Yeah.
Now, we looked at it, though. Sam Darnold's numbers were not gaudy. He had very, very pedestrian numbers. They were good and very efficient, but they weren't crazy high with fantasy points. He just was very efficient and got the ball to JSN.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about him next year? I mean, as of right now, there's not really any changes. His team's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So are they going to attract some more wide receiver talent? Is that going to cut into JSN? Is it too early to even make a determination on JSN?
John, I'll be honest here. I am still a little nervous of JSN. And the reason being is because, number one, any time that we have really seen this level of output from a receiver, outside of a few names like Puka or Jamar, there's always been a slight come back to earth moment. And what I mean by this is JSN was so high up there throughout the entirety of the season, and knowing where you actually drafted him, whether it was round 3, 4, 5, etc., you got back insane value. So put your fantasy football cap on, guys. We're not talking NFL. We're talking fantasy football. For me, drafting JSN in the middle of your first round screams risk, right? Let's talk about Klint Kubiak. Klint Kubiak, a dynamic, incredible offensive coordinator, is more than likely not going to be the OC there next year. He's probably going to be. There's a lot of rumors going on about him potentially being the Raiders head coach. They can't do anything until the Super Bowl's over. But again, if you lose that particular piece, that's a big problem. And then in addition, yeah, man, Sam Darnold has looked really good. I mean, for the last 2 seasons, it's really an anomaly, in my opinion, for what we've seen. And maybe it's just his development is actually getting there and he's really looking well. But there's a part of me that struggles in fully believing it from a fantasy football standpoint. Meaning, right, moving forward, is he going to be able to continue to feed JSN to this level, right? And so to your point, they brought in Rashid Shaheed. Is he going to start taking additional steps? Are they going to end up looking to bring on additional receiver assets, knowing Cooper Kupp is significantly old and quite honestly lost his step this year, in my opinion? So they need to bolster that. Again, if you look at it in a vacuum, they also had their rookie tight end, Elijah Arrero, who was hurt most of the season. So
A.J. Barner.
And then they brought on, and then A.J. Barner was the other that was a part of that tight end room, and he kind of looked to explode a little bit. So for me, man, there's a lot of questions surrounding this offense, primarily focused on Klint Kubiak. Now, with that being said, if we're looking at JSN, John, and he was back of the first or in the second, different story. I would actually say, yeah, go with that, because then you could come back around and you could get a Malik Nabors or somebody else who we'll talk about, to where now you're pairing JSN with another top tier guy. And so even if one slightly underperforms, you're covered with the other, versus you're taking this dude at 6. Your whole team is anchored on him then. That is my problem. So for me, it's at your own risk. He certainly told me to shut the fuck up, right? Because he was off my board. Yeah. But the reality is, again, thinking about the value that you were able to get him last year versus the lack of value this year, you're all in on JSN.
It's difficult because he was a 3rd-round pick last year, so it was a huge, at least third, 4th-round pick last year. So it was huge value to have an outlier season. The key phrase is outlier season.
Exactly.
We haven't seen him do this before. This is the first time. Is this sustainable? Is it repeatable? Maybe
he's another Puka.
When I anchor my team, I really try to stay away from those guys who break out and have that outlier season when I don't know for sure if it's going to happen again. And you're right, the Seattle offense, I don't know if it's going to happen again. Charbonnet took a bad injury at the end of the season. Not sure if he's going to be ready to go. And Kenneth Walker's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is.
So that whole backfield could change there, which could change the dynamic of the team. So keep an eye on that. Early, I know, and we're going to talk about JSN a lot in the preseason leading up to the draft, but one of those guys that's going to be controversial. As of right now, middle of 1st round, I'm a little nervous, man. I'm going for one of those running backs, or I'm taking an Amon-Ra or CeeDee Lamb before him. For sure. For sure. Yeah. What about some of these other guys? How about some of the backs here, like JT and Devon Achane and James Cook?
I'll tell you what, JT, I think that you're drafting him at his peak, and I'm fine with that. Now, just be cautious, though, because it was really a tale of 2 different tapes when you looked at Danny Dimes being the quarterback versus then Phillip Rivers and Riley Leonard and a few of the other guys. I mean, things changed dynamically. He went from being a surefire MVP candidate to completely falling off and actually doing your fantasy team a disservice heading into the playoffs. So for me, guys, we got to make sure from Indy's standpoint, again, super early, this is going to be figured out, but we got to really see who's going to be at the helm. Are they going to bring back Danny Dimes? If so, yeah, you definitely draft JT there. If not, what is the backup plan? Who are they bringing in? What does this offense look like? What's going to happen with Michael Pittman? Is he going to get traded? Is he staying? Is Alec Pierce still going to be there, who was able to take off the top, who's now a free agent? So how is that dynamic going to change? For me, John, JT is one of the safest bets if they figure out the quarterback position. Now, real quick, I also want to talk about Devon Achane, because for me, knowing that those two are right back to back, like Devon Achane is also in an uncomfortable position, meaning, right, he's a smaller frame kind of guy, a scat back, and is very dynamic and excellent. However, was that a product of Mike McDaniel offense? Mike McDaniel is now at the Chargers. So what happens then when they get this new OC, or new head coach, which probably is going to be a new OC? And does this change a ton of stuff? I mean, what we've seen is they have no quarterback. Like, let's pause there. Who's their starter, John? I mean, it's not Tua.
Ewers?
Quinn Ewers? I mean, ew. So you got Ewers. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with Tyreek Hill, right? Yeah. He could be a trade candidate. So then you have Jalen Waddle. Then you have...
That's it.
Waller, who's not even signed.
No way.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then Devon Achane. So if you're looking for a volume play, maybe that's the guy. For me, though, I'm actually staying away from Achane in the 1st round because of so many uncertainties. Now, as the year kind of goes, John, and we start seeing maybe they get a pretty serious badass. I know they got Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, who's now his head coach. But from the offensive coordinator standpoint, oh, man. So we got to figure this out and see how this unfolds.
Yeah. The Dolphins are going to be difficult. I mean, you've got 2 players really that you're going to use right now in fantasy. Waddle and Achane.
Yep.
And until I know what's happening around them, they're absolutely off my board.
Definitely.
I want to get Achane because Achane is a light version of the big 3.
Definitely.
His receiving is insane.
Amazing.
But is he going to be able to do that? Is that a Mike McDaniel? That was a very specific, very unique offense.
It was.
They had Achane came on with Mostert, that the way that they ran the ball with all the motion and all of the the eye candy,
You had
pre-snap.
Jalen Wright with getting involved. Ollie Gordon.
It's going to change.
Yeah.
So is it going to be a traditional type offense? That could really hurt Achane. I think he needs that creativity and needs somebody with him to be able to do that. So more on Achane. We'll talk about that. All right, look at James Cook, Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice. What do you want to talk about there?
So for me, guys, James Cook, super safe. He was off my board because I didn't think he could replicate what he did the previous year. And boy, oh boy, did I put my foot in my mouth there. So knowing that Joe Brady now is the head coach, who was the offensive coordinator, guys, this is great. This is all great for James Cook. So draft him. Know that you're probably safe there. Same thing with Amon-Ra. John, for me, man, he's actually receiver 3. In my opinion, personally, I'm taking him as receiver 3. Love him. He's super safe. CeeDee Lamb as well. I actually look at CeeDee Lamb as very safe, even though George Pickens is there. In my opinion, CeeDee Lamb was banged up. There was a lot of kind of goofy shit that happened. He's trying to figure out where he fits with this new offensive coordinator and the new head coach with Schottenheimer. So for me, man, I love CeeDee Lamb back half of first. I think that's fantastic value in my opinion. And lastly, Rashee Rice. This is what I want to hit on for a second. Rashee Rice is going to cause a little bit of mayhem because let's assume Patrick Mahomes is good to go. Everything is pointing to him being rocking and rolling for week 1, excuse me. But Rashee Rice was also banged up. He's also had a few other uncomfortable situations pop up with domestic stuff and, charges and all this kind of shit. So there is some risk there from a fantasy perspective, especially back half of first. Now, here's the thing, though. When he did play, he averaged 15.5 points a game, John, in half PPR. So again, looking at this, I personally am not going to take Rashee Rice in the first round. I think that there's a few other guys that I would actually put above him that to me would be a little bit higher of a floor. Now, people could say, yeah, you're crazy because look at what he did when he was playing. I agree. Yeah, you're right. He looked amazing. But there's also just a lot of the intangibles that I really don't like. And so again, from a fantasy output standpoint, you can certainly go Rashee Rice and then get you a Trey McBride. Or you could do something along the lines of get you your running back if a couple of these guys fall a little bit, maybe James Cook falls or some of these other guys, and then you go and get a Trey McBride second round. I'm more leaning that direction and trying to hit gold a little bit further on the receiver aspect as well.
Football's biggest game is right around the corner, and you can get in on all the action with Underdog. Not on Underdog yet? Then you're in luck, because new customers score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Playing Underdog, it's so easy. Head to the app, make picks on if a player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and so much more. Plus, there's new promos dropping daily in the app. So if you like making picks and winning money, then Underdog is the place to be for the big game coming up here. Frankie, do we have any picks that you recommend for everybody to make?
We sure do for the Super Bowl, guys. Here we go. We're diving in with Trevion Henderson higher than only 9.5 yards rushing, and we're going to pair that with his teammate Stephon Diggs higher than 39.5 yards receiving.
I love that so much. What are you waiting for? Download the app today and use the promo code FRANKLY to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code FRANKLY. Underdog. Make picks. Win money. Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. All right, let's get to round 2 here, man. Let's take a look at these guys here. Pop this guy up. All right, let's just go through. All right, first, round 2 is super interesting. Loaded in round 2, man. Round 2 has guys that we drafted in the first round, first 5, 6 picks even last year. So wonder if we're going to get any value on some of these guys that we're a little nervous about. Let's talk about it. 13, right on the turn here, Trey McBride, tight end popping into the turn of the first, second round. You got to love that. Trey McBride, guys, don't overthink this.
Don't overthink it.
The offense runs straight through Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Yes, there's going to be change on this team. Kyler Murray may not be there. I don't think it matters. Trey McBride is any quarterback's cozy blanket and best friend.
Yep.
If you want to draft Trey McBride in the first round, I have no problem with that at all. The guy came in as, what did we say? He was receiver like 6?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was crazy. He was top 7.
Right. So absolutely, man. There's no issues there, guys. He's done it 2 years in a row. The touchdowns came. I think they're going to continue to come as well. All right, let's get to a couple of guys here we haven't seen a lot of. Okay, we got Malik Nabors right off the rip.
Whoa.
Malik Nabors, Omari and Hampton, second-year guy. Josh Jacobs still holding strong, early second round. Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs back-to-back. They're going to be back-to-back. I guarantee it all draft season. I'm telling you, it's going to be a difficult decision. Justin Jefferson, Drake London at 19, Ashton Geanty coming in at the end of the second. Little value there, I think. Nico Collins, Chase Brown at 22, George Pickens at 23, Brock Bowers, another tight end in the second round, rounding out the end of the second. All right, what do you see in there in some of those early picks in the second?
Guys, let's get it out of the way with. Go ahead and make fun of me because I'm going to say it again. I'm salivating. I am foaming at the mouth to draft Malik Nabors in the second round.
Me too.
Guys, what are we talking about? I get it. He got a big-time injury, like ACL tear, all it. I understand. But we're talking John Harbaugh. We're talking Jackson Dart. We're talking the right? Get his ass back on that field. You got
Did you
Theo
see who
Johnson.
they're looking at for potential OC as of today?
Tell him, John.
Cliff Kingsbury, potentially coming from the Commanders. He was head coach in Arizona. To that high-flying offense, what he was able to do with Jaden Daniels, he can do that with this team with John Harbaugh as the head coach. Dude, that could be exciting for these guys.
Crazy. We've seen Cliff Kingsbury elevate guys even in college, man. When we look at what he did at USC and stuff, I mean, Cliff Kingsbury is the real deal. If they can get him with John Harbaugh, I mean, guys, this is crazy. And then you look at Wan'Dale Robinson when he took that step, and what that means is it's going to help Nabors. This is all helping Malik Nabors. We didn't get to see Malik with Jackson Dart. And we didn't get to see him when Scat came in. So what I'm saying is target him. When you think about his rookie season, when he had that massive target share, when you think about when he was able to play his sophomore year and what he was able to do, it was incredible. Guys, target Malik Nabors. I certainly will be. He is a guy I am drooling over in that second round, man.
I am too. I finally got him last year too, and I was so happy.
And then Thea.
That's how it works, man.
That's how it works.
Definitely a little cock tease. I liked it.
John, so the other big guy out of all these, because there's a ton, but Omari and Hampton. Listen, I want to dig into this for a second because Omari and Hampton is right in a perfect position, knowing that Mike McDaniel is now the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. We just talked about it.
That so
much, man.
Yes.
Especially when you look at what he did for Devon Achane, what he did for Mostert, what he did for Ollie Gordon, right? Yeah. Being able to figure out these incredible schemes and all of this motion and misdirection. Guys, Omari and Hampton is phenomenal. Now, here's the thing. I also, as much as I'm saying this, I'm not drafting him in the beginning of the second round. When you start looking at Ashton Geanty, Justin Jefferson, Drake London, Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, I personally am stat ranking those. Chase Brown, man.
Chase Brown versus Omari and Hampton, that's a would you rather that I could do right now, and I still will have a hard time figuring it out come August of this year. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
So for me, man, I think that Omari's probably going to drop, in my opinion. When we get closer to drafts, I could see him push down more towards the back of 2, early 3. And even in that, it makes me uncomfortable because we saw Kamani Vidal really perform well. So are we going to see kind of a 2-back tandem there for Mike McDaniel offense? In addition, Omari was banged up. He got hurt his rookie year. So you're not planning on an injury, but all of these things, man, I don't know if I would draft Omari and Hampton that early in the second round. I would go Ashton Geanty. I would go somebody else from that perspective.
It'll be interesting. I mean, you get excited because Mike McDaniel's going over there and they might do some really cool shit. But Mike McDaniel was a speed guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Mostert and Achane, that's not who Omari and Hampton is.
So fast.
Omari and Hampton is more like Ollie Gordon.
Yeah.
They're more similar backs. He's got that skill set of catching the ball out of the backfield.
Definitely.
but it's not at all like getting a guy into space like a Devon Achane.
No.
So it will be a different offense. It'll be interesting. What about Josh Jacobs and Saquon, man?
I'll tell you what, like this is, dude.
What do? You flip a coin when it's your turn?
You flip a coin. I mean, seriously, my perspective on it, I would lean Saquon. I just think his floor is a little higher. I think with Josh Jacobs, we saw the floor completely fall out towards the end of the year. And whether it was injury, whether there was something up with the OC, I don't really know.
Hurt all year long.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that makes me a little uncomfortable. So, but yeah, flip a coin. If you're a Packer believer, they just extended LaFleur, so you know he's going to be there for a while. Jacobs isn't going anywhere. The difference for me, though, is that this team, the Eagles offense, they're going to have a new OC. They're more than likely going to lean on Saquon Barkley a bit more. So I want to see Saquon have a bounce back type of year. That's the reason I'm leaning slightly towards him.
All right, well, let's get to some of these receivers here in this second round. I mean, these guys are not without controversy this past season. You know, so where are you kind of ranking and thinking about? I mean, Justin Jefferson in middle of second round now? And even that, I go, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Do I just pass on Justin Jefferson and take a Drake London or a Nico? Maybe. At this point, I don't know, man. I mean, it really depends. Are they going to roll with J.J. McCarthy next year? So I'm nervous about Justin Jefferson.
I'm super nervous. I'm super nervous about him. Dude, he's arguably the most talented receiver in the NFL.
Sure.
In my opinion. He's arguably that.
Yeah.
On a team to where we thought he was quarterback proof. He was until this year. And John, his target share went down, yardage went down, touchdowns went down. I mean, it was really brutal to watch. And then on the flip side, you see Drake London, who was literally top 4 receiver until he got hurt. I mean, he was on a completely different playing field this year than a lot of other guys. And then he got hurt and he still finished, top 25, top 30, whatever it was. But thinking about then Stefanski coming in here, that is different. I don't know how I really feel, because for Stefanski, there were times that he was targeting the hell out of receiver 1, but a lot of it was going to tight end as well. So do we see a slight downtick in that of Drake London and versus a massive uptick for Bijan and Kyle Pitts? And therefore, then you lose some of the value drafting him in round 2 versus you're just going to go with the surefire guy, big name value. You know there's trade capability with that of Justin Jefferson for your fantasy league, but also at the massive risk that J.J. McCarthy is there. So for me, man, personally, looking at this in the way too early realm of the spectrum leading up to the drafts, I am probably willing to still take the risk of Justin Jefferson in round 2 if I am taking a receiver in round 1. If I am taking a running back in round 1, I am not going to anchor my receiving core on Justin Jefferson. I would go then Drake London. And the reason being is because I think that I can diversify enough to where my running back can hold it down. Let's say it's CMC, for example, from the receiving aspect. And then I have the ceiling plays of that of Drake London. That's where my mindset is. Again, end of January, early February, guys, leading into the offseason.
Yeah, but it's good to think about these strategies.
Totally
saying, if I draft, and I agree with you with that, as far as draft strategy and team, how you're building your team. If I take the running back and you do want to take Justin Jefferson as your anchor, I'm coming right back with another receiver in round 3.
Definitely.
Yeah, just to make
question.
sure I've got that top-heavy depth of receiver, just in case. Just in case. All right, what else here? Look at kind of the bottom half here of the second round. Is Ashton Geanty now of value in fantasy drafts at number 20?
Yes. Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
If he's at the end or middle of second round, I'm all over him. I'm all over it.
Dude, definitely. I mean, guys, there's a graphic out there, and God, I wish we could show it. But there was a graphic out there, John, that basically showed what his total yardage was and then what his yardage was after contact.
Yeah,
guys, it was literally like 100 or 80 yard difference, meaning Ashton Geanty's getting hit at the line every damn play, and he still had over 1,000 yards rushing. Guys, this is going to be revamped. You look at it, like, let's just put our hats on. If Clint Kubiak or another very good style offensive guy comes in and is now the head coach, let's assume it's Clint. Look at what Kenneth Walker did. Look at what Zach Charbonnet did. Look at the sets that they put these guys in. And then look at the way they constructed the offensive line. They went out, homegrown those big boys, meaning they drafted them, and then they brought in a couple free agents and bolstered that. That only helped Sam Darnold. That only helped their rushing attack. So for me, man, knowing that they have first overall pick, they're probably going to go Fernando Mendoza. So then you look at, okay, well, what are the assets outside of then Fernando Mendoza? It's Brock Bowers, who I think is a phenomenal pick at the end of round 2, early round 3, by the way. And then they also have Trey Tucker and Ashton Gianty. Guys, they need more than this. They definitely do. So right now, I'm thinking volume. I'm thinking if they can get Fernando Mendoza, and then if they can get a couple good big brutes in the on the line, then you bolster this to open it up for Gianty, and then you can start piecing together on the outside. So to answer your question, yes, I think he's a value in the end of the second round.
I love it, man. And Nico and Chase Brown, I think they're right where they belong. I think they're super safe picks.
I agree.
Nice floor, ceiling opportunity. Take them in the second round. I love it. Controversial one here, though. George Pickens. End of the second round. Is that too high? Is this another outlier year again? We talk about it. New face in a new place, and the guy fucking blows up. But CeeDee Lamb missed 5 games.
Yeah.
He was banged up. He was a decoy for at least 2 or 3.
Definitely.
For sure. What do we do with George Pickens next year? I mean, when these second receivers on the teams like this pop off, it's usually because of something. And we know that there's some reasons there with CeeDee. What do you do? I mean, do you confidently take him? I probably pass him. I have to be honest. I probably pass. I don't like anchoring because at this point, it's round 2. You're anchoring your team.
Definitely. He could be a receiver 1.
On the number 2 target.
He could be a receiver 1.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
No.
So that makes me uncomfy.
It does. It totally does. Guys, here's the deal. I'm not willing to take George Pickens in round 2. And this could be a situation of JSN last year. I'll be honest. But again, when we talk about he freaked out. He had one of those incredible years. And yeah, we've seen him be very good. Let's be honest. Just like JSN, we've seen him be very, very good. But again, there were a lot of different factors that came into play this year. So for me, when we look at this, what's going to happen in the backfield? Are they re-signing Javonte Williams again? What's going to happen with CeeDee Lamb? They're probably going to start targeting him more. They're bringing back Jake Ferguson, right? It's just, for me, man. Also, the other key factor in all of this, the offense was behind quite often. And so they got to throw the ball more because their defense was so bad. You know damn right that they're going to get that defense at least bolstered up from what it was. I mean, Quinnen Williams, they made that trade, and they're going to get some guys in the draft. So for me, if they're not playing as much behind, then that lessens the target share ability for George Pickens. So for me, I'm with you. Guys, I'm not saying don't draft him. I'm saying you're getting no value for George Pickens. Yeah, I know he finished 4th overall, but go ahead. Let's see if he repeats that. And I don't think he will. So that's the point. So for me, man, I agree. I think, honestly, he's off my board unless he drops to end of 3rd.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as of right now. All right, let's take a look at round 3 here. We're going to go through this last round just to give you some ideas. Round 3 is crazy. Round 3 is crazy. I mean, there's guys we drafted in the first round in round 3 this year, so it's wild. All right, let's just pull it up here. Let's go right through it. Right off the top here, right on round 3, you got Derrick Henry, man. You got the king. Round 3 value for Derrick Henry? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I probably. I don't know.
For sure.
A.J. Brown, 26, 27, Chris Olave. Then you got Trevion Henderson, Devontae Adams, Josh Allen, first quarterback on there, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, R.J. Harvey, T. Higgins, Cam Scatterboo in round 3, and Breece Hall. Okay. Now, we don't want to take up too much time. We just want to give people a little taste. We don't want a real long episode.
Appetizer.
We could talk about this list of people for 2 hours.
For hours.
Yeah. Give us a little taste of some of these guys and what you're thinking, man.
Okay, I'll start with the top 4. So we'll go Derrick Henry to Trevion Henderson. Guys, number 1, Derrick Henry, big value in round 3.
Finally a value on Derrick.
Finally a value there. And again, realistically, he may move up the board a tad into back half of 2 by the time the season hits. But if you can get him in round 3, guys, I just think that this is absolute steal. I get Todd Monken's gone. I get that John Harbaugh's gone. I get that Jesse Minter's now the head coach, right? And things are changing at light speed, if I'm being honest. But the thing is, the constant is the king. Now, what we also saw is this past year, nobody else was even close behind him. There was nobody else. Keaton Mitchell didn't take a step. Justice Hill was gone. There was nothing really there. So for me, I think we can see one more great year from that of King Henry. And if you can get him in the third, love the value. Now, A.J. Brown and Chris Olave. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown underperformed, or actually performed exactly where his projection was the prior year. I think he finished 10th overall, and he was projected 10th overall in half PPR. Guys, I don't foresee A.J. Brown being an Eagle. I just don't. Everything screaming inside, I just don't see him there. So we got to stay in touch, or what's going on from a free agency standpoint. If he gets traded and he becomes a receiver one on a team that will feed him the rock constantly, he's going to move up into the second round. If he stays, though, with the Eagles, I think a round 3, A.J. Brown is great. I think that there's some value there, man. I mean, I would rather take an A.J. Brown in round 3 than a Justin Jefferson, who I just said I'd probably take, if depending on my draft strategy, in round 2, if I'm being honest with you. So for me, I like where A.J. Brown's at. Same with Chris Olave. Guys, this is
sneaky
great value. Sneaky. Because, guys, he performed as a top 6 receiver, right, this past year. And in addition, there's nobody else behind him. There's literally nobody else behind him. Now, realistically, they'll end up potentially bringing on another receiver this year, something like that. But when you got Tyler Shugg, a young quarterback, who's hyper-targeting a dynamic, a very good receiver, who's very good in getting into open space, guys, that's great. And you can get him as your receiver too. Why would you not? So A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, love both those guys. Now, here's the thing. I want to get to Trevion. No. I'm going to say no. There's no way you take Trevion Henderson in the third round. Guys, Ramondre is the lead back. We hate to say it. You hate to say it. The fantasy community, it drives them nuts. The reality is he's under contract. He looked incredible.
He looked great.
Incredible.
They're not going to go away from him.
No.
He looked great.
It's a 1-2 punch-ish, with the 1 being Ramondre, and then the 2 is a little bit down here with Trevion. Now, you're going to have big boom weeks with Trevion because that's just what's going to happen.
Sure.
But he's not going to get the lion's share of the load. So for me, man, you guys, don't do this to yourself. Like, it would be miserable because you may need to take Trevion then. If you go receiver, he's going to be your running back 1. You feel good about that? Since he's a running back 2 on his team today? No. So guys, go away from Trevion at this point in time.
Way too high. Then how do you feel about these receiver 2s? I think they're obviously, you put Pickens up there, but you got Pickens, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins. I think all those guys are round 3, including George Pickens.
I agree.
I mean, that's where I would put them all.
I love them.
All fantastic.
Love them all
they're
there.
All going to give you super value here.
Totally.
They could be your receiver 2 paired up with an absolute stud. No issue with those guys at all.
None.
Josh Allen, same thing.
Love.
Wherever you want to get Josh Allen,
you can take him in the first if you wanted to. I don't care.
Don't think about it, guys. It's he's the number 1 fantasy scorer in fantasy football, and has been 1 or 2 every year, but his first year playing
his
football.
rookie year.
So, guys, there's no reason to think otherwise. If you want to take Josh Allen in the first round, go ahead. I don't care. I wouldn't, because you can get him in the third. But take him. Bucky Irvin, Kyron Williams, R.J. Harvey, Cam Scatterbo, Breece Hall. Wow. We got a lot of running backs there that, I mean, some of them I think are slam dunks in round 3, and some of them I'm like, yikes, man. Is this just recency bias because they're just played in the playoffs? I don't believe R.J. Harvey belongs in the first 4 rounds.
No, agreed.
I just don't. Cam Scatterbo, love him. He could be a wonderful RB2 for you. It's early,
injury.
Man.
Yeah.
That's early. He's coming off injury. You're talking the 3rd round, so you're going to have maybe a running back, receiver, and then Cam. It's not perfect for me. It's not perfect. Kyron and Bucky, I do think are slam dunks in the 3rd round. These are guys that you could anchor as your RB1 if you needed to, but you would be super happy with them as your RB2 if you went receiver, running back, or something like that. What about Breece Hall?
Breece Hall is so sketch. It's so sketchy. Guys, if they find a way to keep him on the Jets, I mean, you could. Yeah. But I don't like it. They're terrible. There's absolutely nothing redeeming about the Jets right now. They have no quarterback. They only have Garrett Wilson and then Breece Hall. Their offensive line is trash. Their defense is even worse. Guys, I don't know. I really don't think there's anything redeeming about the Jets other than Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson at this point in time. So let's say if he doesn't, because he's an unrestricted free agent, let's say he is not a Jet, then that changes everything.
Yes, it does.
Because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we've been talking about this for the last year, pretty much.
You are going to will this into
Chiefs.
existence.
It's going to be the Chiefs. If the Chiefs do not draft Jeremiah Love from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish guys in this draft, in the NFL draft, they are going to make a play for a running back. They tried to get him in free agency last year. It didn't work out because the asking price, in my opinion, Jets should have made it anyways. For me, if he goes to the Chiefs, guys, he is a surefire second-round pick, and don't even think twice about it, in my personal opinion, assuming Patrick Mahomes is healthy and the rest of the team is good. What we saw with Andy Reid, man, is awesome.
Isaiah Pacheco is a free agent.
He is not going to be there.
It's unlikely they're going to sign him. Yeah. Injury issues. He seems to have lost his step. He's not running with that same
outperformed
anger.
him. You know what I mean?
So, Brees Hall goes to the Chiefs. It's
oh,
baby, let's go.
He's got some tread on the tires too, John. That's the thing. Because the Jets also have some state guys to where they got Braylon Allen in the Wims, who we've seen outside of a couple fumbles. He is big. He is bad. He's a mean dude behind that line. So for me, knowing that you got that, why sign Brees Hall? Let the dude walk. That's why I thought they would trade him. But, man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Now, there's two special mentions I want to bring up here because I do think you're right about Brees Hall. It all depends. I want Brees Hall.
Totally.
I think the talent's there. I think he can do just about anything on the field if he's got the right situation. Yep. It's Brees Hall and it's Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson will be a round 3 pick. I think he will be. Everybody just needs to see what the hell this New York Jets team is going to do. Yeah. If they can show us some semblance of maybe some competency, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson will be in the 3rd round somewhere. I agree with that. What about Teteroa McMillan? Garrett Wilson and Teteroa McMillan are just right outside of that 3rd round looking in. Is there any chance that Teteroa McMillan, T-Mac, may get into that 3rd round?
Here's the thing. There is a chance. But for me, he just screams middle 4, back of 4. And I think if you can get him there, it's a great value because I think that he's going to be a 1,000-yard guy. No question about it. I think his touchdowns will probably uptick a bit knowing sophomore year. I also think that his synergy with Bryce Young is going to continue to grow, which I absolutely love. And what we saw is they're targeting this dude. And throughout the year, they continued to increase that target share. So for me, John, yeah, you could make an argument if you are a Panthers fan, for example, or you're just a Tet fan in general, then yeah, you could end up taking him back at 3. For me, he's just screaming middle 4, back of 4. And then if that's the case, then he performs like a, top 15 guy, top 20 guy, then it's like, then you got value there and you're happy with it. So that's where my mindset is. What are your thoughts? I'm curious. Would you take him in the 3rd?
I would probably take him at the end of the 3rd, assuming Garrett Wilson doesn't have a situation that I'm really in love with. I think he's very, very safe with some upside potential. So I wouldn't mind him. I think.
Would you take him over T. Higgins?
No.
Knowing that he's a receiver 1 versus T is a receiver 2.
Yeah.
But you got Burrow and.
I trust it much more. We've seen T. Higgins do this and perform as a top 24 receiver every single year. He got paid. Jamar misses 3 games. He'll finish top 5 that week. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Teteroa McMillan doesn't quite have that. He doesn't have that ceiling or that opportunity or injury opportunity around him to even step up. I don't trust Bryce Young as much as I trust Joe Burrow to support multiple receivers.
What about Mike Evans? Let's say Mike Evans comes back. He's healthy to start the year. He wants to run this back with the Bucs, get into the playoffs for one last year. Are you taking Teteroa or are you taking Mike Evans?
I think they have similar floors.
Yeah,
I don't think there's that much difference. If I'm trying to decide between 2 guys like that I think will perform about the same, I always go youth. There's just exponentially amount. Mike Evans really has a hard time finishing an entire season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that would be the difference for me. But I think they're both very safe guys. A little boring to me, Mike Evans. I never see that. I like ceiling plays,
especially with Puka and you got Godwin and McMillan.
Right. And if I do draft Mike Evans, like as my wide receiver 2, I'm going all upside for the rest of my receivers.
Definitely.
Just trying to get some, gold, trying to find something there that's going to be shocking to me and increase that. All right, guys, that is a little preview, little taste, little sample. Sneak peek there, a little taste of next year's fantasy draft, first 3 rounds. Again, it doesn't include rookies, which I can't wait to talk about that. Doesn't take into consideration free agency, which we touched on some of the guys that would be potential free agents. Sure. There's a few in there. Frankie, what do we have coming up? Last episode of the year. We're going to be starting again right around 4th of July. What's it going to look like, brother?
Guys, listen, we're going to be doing a ton of research. So when this rookie review drops after the NFL draft heading into July, right? We're going to be dropping this. We're going to dive into it. We're going to dissect it. Really get ready if you're a dynasty player, because these are the things that you need to know. By the way, guys, we hit on a ton of our rookies last year. Go back and check it out. I promise. It's not just us plugging anything. It truly was. We were right. Probably about 65-70% of the time, which is really good. So check it out. In addition, guys, throughout the year, though, I will and we will be posting multiple things on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, just about random shit happening. You want to stay up to date with new coaching signings or different trades that are happening. Guys, those are going to be on the story. So continue to check it out. We're going to be there every step of the way. So we got a lot of stuff still coming. But as always, John, we're wrapping up season 5. Right? This is crazy, the growth that we've seen. Guys, the love that we get from you guys, the hate that we get from you guys. Shit, I love it. So guys, we thank you being a part of the Frankly Fantasy community. We are so grateful for what this has become. And so we want to make this happen, and we can only do it with you guys. So we love you. Thank you. We're wrapping up season 5, and damn it, we're so excited for season 6.
Let's go, baby. It's going to be beautiful, man. You ready for the last time this year?
Let's do it.
May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.